All is well, all is well. Hello, 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 and welcome in PowerPass, your ticket to greatness. And today it will be our last episode for a while, and we will be speaking about rhythms, cycles, and closures. Because sometimes in our life happens that we start a certain project, we start a certain energy, we start a certain momentum, and this momentum has its own rhythm, it has its own life. And then this this life changes, expand, grows, and extends. So today we'll be speaking about it, how to feel your rhythm, how to recognize that we are stepping into another level of life, how to recognize that we are going beyond what we initially intended. So hello and welcome.
Hello, hello. So let's go start. You have to do your beautiful introduction of PowerPass.
I believe I did already.
Did you? Okay, sorry.
Yes. Have you heard
Okay.
me?
Um,
Maybe.
no, no, no. I don't know. I think I was really concentrated in your words and how they were matching exactly with the feelings and how to talk about that, isn't
Mm,
it?
yes.
Because one thing that at least it helped me to understand right now that for me is not more a priority, this power pass
Mm-hmm.
project. It's
Mm-hmm.
because I start to lose my motivation
Mm-hmm.
and I start to feel, oh my God, today I have the life, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And this initial was like, okay, so let's go observe this and try to understand if this is just a phase or if it's a signal of something. And yeah, it carried on. It
Mm-hmm.
carried on. And then I allowed myself, like, okay, stop and just go into into your own world. And one thing that I don't know if you tried this, but with me works quite well. That is just really relax and allow me to sigh. Okay, that it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, because in my opinion, this kind of movement, it's like you you allow the pressure of your masculine energy to move a bit away, so you allow your feminine energy to
Mm.
express. Yeah.
Yes.
And I started to understand that when my feminine energy started to have more space, started to say, now it's time to stop with power pass, because the reality is that I was putting my masculine energy in a
Mm-hmm.
lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the feminine energy start to, hey, hello, I'm not happy, I'm not having time for myself. And this is the reason because I told to you, and I have exactly to start to cut off things.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what we'll be speaking about today. How can we recognize that things that we chose to do some time ago, that they are coming to an end, that
Mm-hmm.
we are noticing, okay, I'm repeating the same stuff, and at the beginning, it was exciting, it was
Yeah.
amazing, but now it seems like a chore. It seems like something I
Mm-hmm.
must to do. It's not something I want to do. So what to do in these moments? Is it sometimes like, oh, because today is raining, I don't want to go to work,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe it is, oh no, I just feel that that's it. I don't want to be there anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
how to recognize the difference between them?
I think it's important that you, in the reality, you have a look in all your life. Okay. Because if other things start to come into your life and they are like a priority, you start to think, okay, this is the priority. And in that moment, you really have to be clear about what you want. So this is the reason because I was mentioning before, the contact with the feminine energy, since it's the one that tells you what needs. And recently, um, I was watching a video, and actually they were my teachers before,
Mm-hmm.
and I continue to follow them. And they were talking exactly about this feminine and masculine energy and how they are always working together. And this for me was very, very nice, because for many years I started to notice that I had a kind of pattern in my life, usually connected with 9 months and 21 days.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I was in a project, imagine 9 months and 21 days. I was
Mm-hmm.
1 year, 9 months and 21 days, and
Yes.
all these things. And I just noticed when I was writing my CV one day, and I had to put the number of months.
Yes.
I had to write it, and then I was like, oh, but I have here a pattern.
Yes.
You know, to be honest, in this case, I don't know if it's linked with the 9 months and 21 days. I'm not sure. I didn't go through that, but when I'm talking about this, is exactly for people also find out their patterns in life, because life is made of patterns. And what my teachers were saying about the feminine and the masculine energy is that you really have to have a time that the feminine is the feminine energy is planning, and then the masculine energy is acting out,
Acting. Yes.
and they are always step by step following
Mm-hmm.
together. And this helped me a lot to understand periods that I had to face my feminine energy and I was totally depressed.
Mm-hmm.
It was horrible, since my masculine energy, I was used to have it, and I was
Yes.
always busy and producing a lot of things. When I had the end of a cycle, it was a madness, because it was like my life is over.
Mm-hmm.
And the kind of thoughts, the kind of feelings, it was horrible. And this was my feminine energy trying to plan what was going to do
Mm-hmm.
after. Actually, what she was going to say to my masculine energy.
Mm-hmm.
And even I can tell you that the moment that I decided to come to UK, it was about a period of about 9 months with my
Yes.
feminine energy planning, that of course UK was not in my mind at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was in the moment that the masculine energy understood that the feminine energy said, oh yeah, there is a plan here that even I was not aware, so I'm ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought a ticket and I came to UK.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if you look to your life, you always can understand that you have periods that, or you lose your job, or you get divorced. It's like you find a void in your life. The routine that you had before just vanish.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the end of a cycle. And it's like nature. You have the 4 seasons, and you
Exactly.
have to allow exactly the feminine. And it's interesting because I think it was not just me suffering with this feminine energy, like doing nothing,
Mm-hmm.
that struggles. I believe our
Mm-hmm.
society, it's so used to produce, to do. "Ah,
Acting.
I want more,"
Yes.
that when they face a period that life says, no, enough,
Mm-hmm.
you just don't know how to deal with it.
Exactly. You
You
can see what
struggle.
happened during lockdown, yes, when everything
Mm,
stopped for a second. The amount of people that started to be depressed, the amount of people who got extremely anxious,
mm,
a lot of people just didn't knew what to do with themselves
yes.
because they weren't comfortable to stay with themselves and do nothing and just be for a second.
Mm-hmm,
And this is the feminine energy that it's unbalanced, that it's not being honored
mm-hmm,
in the day-to-day life. Yes.
mm-hmm. And what I want to express, of course, it's like I believe that all of us we have to start to understand what life is telling us. So I say this maybe 10 times already, that is, listen to your body. You have to listen because you have the motor in there. You have the
Mm,
action in there. It's in your body that you can feel the motivation to do something. If the body is saying, oh, I don't want to do nothing. So listen it.
mhm,
Maybe,
exactly.
maybe for now, you don't know, you are not aware about what you really want to do, but is the beginning of you then know exactly what comes.
Mhm,
And I think it's quite important to mention also the rhythms. I don't know in your case, but I love my rhythms.
mhm,
Okay. And what is a rhythm? A rhythm is something that you can see it in your routine. Of course, you don't have to do exactly always the same, but it's important that you have your rhythm in your mind. Let's go imagine that you are a person that you work better in the morning, but then you don't respect that and you are going to bed quite late. In the morning, in the following morning, you are struggling a lot. You didn't respect your own rhythm. There are
mhm,
people that are the opposite. They are much more active during the night. And again, if they change that, this will affect how they interact with the world. I'm talking here in a biological rhythm, but also rhythms. It's about our routines, how you structure your life. What are the kind of steps that you need to do to ensure that you are okay,
mhm,
that you are not slave of it, because this is quite important. And at the same time, that they give you some kind of comfort and even space again to contemplate what is around you. It's
mhm,
like savoring life, how you savor your life. If you find the moment of savoring your life when you are following your rhythm, it's okay. But if you are in a rhythm that you just want to accomplish something that your mind found that that this is the goal, it can be tricky.
mhm.
And yeah, sorry.
I just wanted to mention that we all have rhythms, we all
Mm-hmm,
have cycles, and very often they're unconscious. We are not understanding or we are not noticing that we are repeating the same
mm-hmm,
cycle over and over again until it will become conscious. Like you notice that you're repeating
mm-hmm,
certain patterns when you were writing the dates on your CV and this project, that project, this project, and they were lasting about 9 months and 21
mm-hmm,
days. And the same is happening with us if we choose to start recognizing our rhythms, our cycles, our um, our patterns of thinking, of
mm-hmm,
behavior. It will become easier for us to start noticing what serves us and what can we start cutting out and saying, okay, this is enough. This energy that I'm putting into this habit or this cycle, it's not good enough. I want to expand it, change it, or transform it.
Mm-hmm.
So intentionally choosing to recognize your own patterns, your own cycles will benefit you
Mm.
in order to simply become better at life.
Even you start to understand what you need, because it's recognizing your needs.
Hmm.
It can go since a physical need. I'm going to give you an example. There are people that the first thing that they have to do when they get up in the morning is to eat their breakfast.
Hmm.
If they don't have their breakfast, their morning is ruined.
Hmm.
You have people instead that they can have their breakfast at 10, 11, or
Hmm.
even don't have breakfast at all.
Hmm.
And what happens is that many times people, they even don't understand that this need, that is a physical need, is not being respected. They even cannot understand very well that if they don't eat the breakfast at that time, it will affect them through the day.
Hmm.
And of course, we have people that they have the rhythm that doesn't matter if they have the breakfast in the morning. They really have this kind of rhythm that, okay, can be later on and it's okay.
Hmm.
So it's very important we understand the kind of inner rhythms that we have, since these will lead you in a pathway that you will find out which kind of needs your body, your emotional body needs, your mental body needs. This is very, very important because this settles you.
Hmm.
You feel more secure. You feel that, all right, I need this. For my body, at least works 95% in its best. I have to eat my breakfast, or I don't.
Yes.
It depends. But this is always about patterns. And if we start exactly to recognize our patterns, it will be easier to understand our life. When we have endings, when we have um, a cycle that is in the middle, a cycle that is in the beginning, this helps you to even create a position to face the challenges and what
Hmm.
is coming. And what you mentioned before about the focus, you cannot open hands of the focus. You have exactly to understand, okay, this comes down my heart or not. If this comes down my heart, that's it. Because if you start to feel anxious, like, and then what is going to happen?
Yes.
And no, it's not the way. Because even you will create some kind of issue that you have to sort it out later on. You
Hmm.
can get a disease, a illness, and then you stop because you have to solve that issue.
Hmm. So, what kind of technique would you recommend for people, for listeners, to start using in order to start recognizing their own rhythms, their own cycles,
Mm,
and how to be sure that what you're closing, what you're cutting out, it's the right thing?
mm. Um, I think it's important that you start to recognize the myth in you. All of
The
us, we
meat?
are the myth. All of us, we are living a kind of myth. And you can understand what is your myth through the numbers.
Okay.
This helps you to understand which kind of pathway you are walking. And in this way, you will start to recognize your your phases. because all of us, we are representing one myth at least.
Mm-hmm.
So it's quite important when you recognize the pattern that you have with your myth, you start to see that there are matches in your story and in his story that it will let you know that there is an ending at
Mm-hmm.
some point. And you can start to notice the ending at the same point when you know your myth, because you will start to see, okay, the story of the myth was this one. So if I'm crossing this pathway right now, this is coming. So this is the
Mm-hmm.
time to to move, to change these things. Another thing that I believe that it's quite important is that you do what I said before that I did with myself. Allow you to sigh.
Mm-hmm.
Just lie down in bed, lay down in bed and allow you to sigh. Even you will start to, first you will be surprised because you didn't feel so tired, for example, and you are sighing a lot. And you you really allow your body to relax, and it's like a movement that you
Mm-hmm.
feel a bigger connection inside of yourself. This is the kind of things that you can do them in a way that at least will let you know to start to recognize your patterns, or to tell you when you have to do a closure or you have to close something in your life.
Mm-hmm. So, knowing your endings, knowing your needs, what kind of emotional need are you meeting? What kind of physical need are you meeting? Maybe there is something like lack of energy or lack of motivation showing up
Mm-hmm.
in your life that is letting you know that a certain cycle is coming to an end
Mm-hmm.
and it's time to reevaluate, look back and say, okay, I was doing this, and this, and last year I was doing something similar, and 2 years ago I was doing something similar. Maybe it's time to close it and open something new.
Mm-hmm. And even look what recently came new to your table.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because if the new came, in some way, it's because also you were opening space for the new enter. Is
For
it
the
making
new to
sense?
enter, of course, it is. Steve Harvey was telling this story about his car. He wanted to buy a new car. And he went to his mom and he said, "Mom, I want to buy a new car." And she said, "Yes, but first sell the old car."
Mm,
And he said, "No, I just want to buy a new car right now." I said, "No, first sell your old car." And he said, "Yeah, but why? Why are you asking me to do so?" And I said, "Because it's staying on the driveway and you won't have space to put your new car in it." And that's what happened when he sold his old car. The new car just showed up instantly.
mm-hmm,
So sometimes we need to make space, letting go of old stuff that it's not necessarily serving us, or maybe it was
mm-hmm.
serving in the past, but now it's complete.
And I believe that even when you end cycles, it served always for something.
Hmm.
Always. Even the
Of course.
cycles that hurt more to close and I suffered a lot. Later on, I could understand, oh, thanks God that this happened.
Mm.
This put me in really a good pathway, or thanks to what happened, I could meet other people
Yeah,
that are much more attuned with me than the others that I was working before, for instance. It's like you will start to understand when the things are dropping, and then you focus in another road.
exactly. And it is okay. We need to
Mm-hmm.
remember that it is okay to close the old stuff, start something new, and in between, allow yourself time to be. Allow yourself just time to relax, to enjoy yourself for a second, recalibrate, create a new plan, or align with new inspiration that gives you motivation and energy.
Mm-hmm.
This is how we grow. This is how we expand. This like with everything, even with plants. Yes, they've got
Mm-hmm.
the cycles of
Yeah.
life. And so that will be it for today.
Mm-hmm.
And I bless you all. Thank you for listening us today and listen to your cycles. Discover how you work.
I bless you all, and also many thanks to you, Matt. Thank you for the company. Thank you for these weeks that I don't know if were 9 months or not. But really, thank you for everything to be you. Okay.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And maybe see you somewhere in the future. Blessings.
For sure. We are always crossing the same bridges. We just sometimes don't see each other, but we
Yeah.
cross the same bridges. Okay. Bye bye. And it was really good to work with you. Okay. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Blessings.
Thank you.